I do have a special guest here today, and this one's kind of important here because this unfortunately hurts these guys tremendously. Last week got busted for, and I'm going to let him explain it, for the valves on the tires, but we're going to talk about that here. Travis Kvapil joins us on the phone. Travis, welcome to Race Day on Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me. How you doing?
Doing well. And obviously we're talking about the valve stems on the car and the penalty. Can you talk about that? Walk us through. Obviously, at the beginning of the race last week, tires went down on the grid, and then NASCAR had found something with the tires. And you know NASCAR, there's a couple things that are big no-nos in the sport. It's messing with the gas, and we've seen guys do that before, and also tires. Tires is a big thing as well, because what happens here, and I'll let you explain it, and then I'll explain to the race fans what it does.
Yeah, I mean we're a small team, and first and foremost, we definitely didn't do this on purpose. This was a complete accident. It was just kind of a series of events, and led up to this. We're a small team. We don't have a big staff, or a lot of kind of people checking on doing the right thing, I guess you'd say. And we had a fill-in tire guy for the weekend, and somehow these valve stem caps ended up on our car. I don't know if we had them in inventory at the shop, if they were on the haul, or how they ended up in our hands of our team. But the guy that was doing the tires for the weekend just grabbed some of these valve stem caps and put them on, and sure enough, they happened to be the ones that were on there during the rain delay. And then during the rain delay, the rear tires went flat. The thing is we wouldn't really do them on the rear tires. There's no minimum air pressure on the rears. There is on the front. And it was also, we had one on one of the rear inner liners, so there's really no performance gain to put one on a rear inner liner. And, the thing is, if we'd have known we'd had them on, we wouldn't have got caught. So it's, the point is, though, you can't, now we had them on our car. NASCAR can't really rule on intent, so you got to face the consequences.
Yes, and what the advantage is when, and it wasn't the actual valve stem itself, it's the actual cap that goes on top, and there are tiny, and I mean tiny, I don't even know what the measurements are, to let that air out. So when it builds up pressure, you set it at a certain spot. When you're out on the grid, obviously, you get going, those tires heat up, they build up pressure, and what happens is it lets air out to relieve that pressure and gives you a more balanced tire throughout the race. Unfortunately, you never got out there on the track with that because the rain delay. And like you said, you had a fill-in tire guy. You're a smaller team. Things happen. What's going to happen now? Because it's 150 points, drops you out of that a very important top 35 in owner points right now. Crew chief, tire specialist, all suspended. I think it's like 12 weeks, and then there's a $150,000 fine right now. What do you guys plan on doing?
Well, we just got to keep chugging on. Fortunately, our owner, Bob Jenkins, is committed to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. He's got 3 cars out here. We don't run top 15, top 10, every week for sure. We're kind of a mid-pack type of race team, but this is an owner. I give him a lot of credit. He's given us all the tools that he can afford. We're racing these races. We're not starting and parking. And, we're just going to keep chugging on. He's committed to being an owner in this series, and things like this is, you're going to come across them. So we'll have to kind of lick our wounds and go on. The points is a big deal because we had all our cars locked in the top 35, guaranteed spots in the show. So now we got to race our way in every week until we make that deficit up. And right now we're 66 points out, so we got to work hard to get our cars back in. And then the money is huge for this team. Like I said, $100,000 might not be much to a Rick Hendrick or a Childress or a Gibbs Racing, but for our little team, it's a big hit. So we already watch every dollar we spend, and we buy limited amounts of tires on the weekend. So we just got to be really careful, and hopefully we don't tear our race cars up, and we can overcome this.
Yeah, stay a clean race. Obviously, you made the race for today, which is great for you guys because putting you outside those points. Now, is there appeal? Are you guys going to appeal this?
Yeah, we are. I don't really understand the whole appeal process. Obviously, I don't know what we're going to really gain from. I mean, we had these illegal parts on our car.
Right.
Maybe we can get the penalties reduced, or maybe we can get our guys back. More within more than or less than 12 weeks suspension. And so, we're doing the appeal process right now, and just going to have to kind of wait and see what comes from that in a couple of weeks.
Travis Kvapil, our guest on the line today. Travis, I appreciate you coming on with us. You're out on the grid, getting ready to race today at Michigan. Talk about the track out there. This is a fast track. This is 205, 210 miles an hour, getting into these corners, and it's really a wide racetrack. You got plenty of room. The truck race yesterday, unbelievable how very competitive. If we see that in the Cup Series, man, it's going to be a wild one today.
Yeah, Michigan's an awesome racetrack. You can run, like you saw in that truck race, you can run 3 and 4 wide here, different lanes. Usually if you got a car that's faster than the guy in front of you, you can find a way around him. There's just go where he isn't, basically. Big horsepower track. You got to have a great handling race car. So it really takes it all at this track, the whole package. You got to have a great pit crew, great fuel mileage. So a lot of things go into the equation of having a successful day here. So excited about it. I feel like we got a pretty decent Long John Silver's Ford, and stay out of trouble. 200 laps, 400 miles, and be there at the end, and I think we can have a solid day.
Well, Travis Kvapil, our guest. I'm Rob D'Amico, Race Day on Fox Sports Radio. Travis, let me ask you this real quick. Your owner, obviously Front Row Racing. You mentioned Bob Jenkins in there as well. They've all kind of partnered up here with all three of these teams here that you guys have. You've been switching numbers back and forth to try and keep that top 35. How is that working out? Obviously, with this penalty, obviously it hurts. Does that stop the switching of the numbers and things like that? You kind of just focus on, all right, we really need to get this car back in this game so we can have that. It's very important, especially for a team like you. You mentioned it, man. A small team, top 35 is so difficult. You hear all these guys saying, when it's these guys at the end of when they go out and qualify because they have to make the field on their times, how nerve-wracking it is. And unfortunately, they hate being in that situation. What are your thoughts on that whole thing, top 35, and what do you do with this team right now with the numbers? You keep them the same?
Honestly, I don't even know what we're going to do. We just got the penalty handled down to us Wednesday, and we were scrambling to figure out what we were going to do this weekend. I know after the race is over Monday morning, we always have our team meeting, so we'll sit down and figure out what we're going to do going into Sonoma. We've switched the numbers around earlier in the year just to protect our rookie driver Kevin Conway and his sponsor. We wanted to make sure they were guaranteed spots in the race, and so with my experience and David Gilliland's experience. My other teammate. It was important for us to keep the only sponsored car in the race, and guarantee him a spot. And as a rookie, you need to be out there completing these races and completing all the miles to gain experience. I like the top 35 rule. I think it's a good thing. You got these sponsors are critical to our sport, and you got to keep them happy, and if you can tell them you're guaranteed a spot on Sunday, that's a big deal. So it's hard to sell sponsorship when you go to a sponsor and they ask if you're going to be guaranteed in the race, and you can't say that you are. So it's a good rule. Maybe it could be tweaked a little bit. Maybe that number could be up or down a few or whatever, but I think it's all good.
Our guest on the phone, Travis Kvapil. Appreciate you stopping by today, man. Good luck in today's race, man. And, we wish you the best of luck. I know it's been tough out there. Let me ask you this real quick. We've been hearing a lot with the Fords, the FR9 engines, obviously your relationships and partnerships there with the team. What are your thoughts on that? Do you guys get to use that yet? And when does that come into play for you guys, being a smaller team?
Yeah, unfortunately, our team, Front Row Motorsports, we're not going to have the opportunity to run that FR9 this year, 2010. All the other Fords will be running that. Petty and Roush and the Wood brothers. It was kind of the deal we worked out with Yates, with Doug Yates engines earlier in the year. Was we would stick with the older style Ford, and that's what we're geared up to do, and that's just kind of. That's our deal, So hopefully when the new FR9 comes out, which it is here this weekend, I know the guys are really excited about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have that opportunity maybe later in the year or definitely next year. So looking forward to that.
Travis Kvapil, thank you for joining us today. Obviously out on the grid for today's race. Good luck today at Michigan, and the best of luck to you, man. And we wish you nothing but the best. Get back in there, back in that top 35, man.
Really appreciate it. Will do. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. Travis Kvapil joining us from the grid today in Michigan.